Hello, Jam fam. Thank you so much for joining me on today. I am JaMara J Smith, and welcome to my channel. This is the channel where you're going to get common sense answers to dating and advice and relationships, all to find out your purpose and destiny and to walk that out. We want to have successful relationships in every aspect of our lives. So let's just get right into it. Today, I wanted to discuss how to date safely while being single. You know, it's a lot going on, and I think that now is a good time to maybe start eventually branching out to going out on dates. And, you know, things are opening back up. We're still very careful. We don't want to overdo it. But, you know, now we can kind of start getting back into the swing of things and just seeing what's out there. So, the first thing I wanted to do is tell you there are 4 steps to my methods. The first step is once you get approached and you exchange information and you're actually on the phone, you know, talking to that person, the first step is to dissect that conversation. When you're on the phone talking to them, I want you to get as much information and collect all the data that you can get, because that's what dating is about, is collecting data on someone that you may want to, you know, them to pursue you. So when you're on the phone, this is when you're asking those questions that are your deal breakers. You're asking those questions that you are listening to the answers to see if you even want to go out with that person, to, you know, even spend the time getting dressed. As a woman, when you go out, you have to get your hair, your makeup, your nails, your outfit, your shoes, your purse, accessories. That's a lot of work just to go out with someone that you may not really be that into. No longer are you, or should you, you know, be just going out just for the fun of it. When you're dating with a purpose, you're dating for the purpose of finding your life partner. So we don't have time for games. We don't have time to just sit around and go out on dates just for the sake of going out. No, ma'am. We don't have time for that. You can date yourself for that. You can take yourself out for that, which is something that, you know, I recommend that you do anyway, because if you don't like yourself, then why would somebody else want to spend time with you? You are your number one fan, and you should love spending time with just you. And so when you love you and spending time with you, then someone else will find you attractive and want to spend time with you as well. Remember, the person that you're going to meet is not going to be your all in all. They're not going to determine whether you're happy or sad. That is all within you. That is the choice that you choose to make, to be happy within yourself. Okay. So the first step is you're on the phone, you're listening to the conversation, and you're dissecting the convo. Okay. Now that you've decided that this person is somebody that you're interested in, they've answered the questions the way that you desired, you're feeling this person, you feel like, okay, there could be something here. What I want you to do for step 2 is I want you to date during the day. Okay, I want you to date during the day. Now, when I say that, that could be lunch, that could be brunch, that could be an early dinner. But what I don't want you to do is to be going out at night. Because see, when you're dating at night, that's when you have the temptations. That's when you're winding down and someone may want or say, hey, you know, can I come in, or whatever the case may be. We don't want any of that. We're going to date during the day so that it can be, you know, a shortened date, not so long. Because if you're going out during the day, that means, you know, it's not going to be an all day, all night type situation. Plus, you don't want someone to think that you have that kind of time on your hands. You want to, you know, go ahead and spend time with the person and then go ahead and go home, because you have a life. You have things to do. You don't want to look desperate or so available to a man that they're like, oh, wow, she, you know, she really don't have that much going on for herself. That's not what you want. Okay. So the first step was we're going to dissect the phone conversation. The second step was we're going to date during the day. And then the third step that I would recommend is you're going to drive to meet that person on the date. They're not going to come pick you up. You're definitely not going to pick them up. So you're going to, after you've made the decision to, okay, yeah, we're going to go out. We're going to go out during the day. I'm going to meet you there. Because this is, to me, one of the most important steps is, you don't want to seem like what if you're going out with this person and they do come and pick you up? You don't want them to know where you live at. You're just dating. I recommend you not going, letting them know where you live at until you're actually in a committed relationship. You don't need to know where I live. I don't need to know where you live, because we're just collecting data on each other. That's what dating is about. Collecting data on the person that you feel like there could be something there. So I would say you need to go ahead and drive and meet them there. Let's say that, you do make the mistake of allowing them to come pick you up. And yeah, you can tell them to pick you up from another location, but who has time for all of that? To me, that's just playing games. I just feel like, personally, you should just not let them know where you live at, and they should not come pick you up. This isn't about being a gentleman and you're a lady or whatever the case may be. You can do all of that when you're in a committed relationship or you're exclusive, okay? And you've excluded everybody else. You have plenty of time for them to come pick you up, or plenty of time for them to find out where you live. So let's say that you do allow them to come pick you up and you're out on the date. And this person gets, for some reason, becomes disrespectful towards you. They do or say something that you feel violated or disrespected by. Then what are you going to do? You're stuck. You're with them because you allowed them to come pick you up. And so now you're going to kindly say, you know what? I don't appreciate what you just said to me, or I don't appreciate what you just did. Take me home. I mean, come on now. You don't want to be dependent upon somebody else for your well-being. And yeah, you can call an Uber or whatever the case, or ride share, whatever the case may be. But what if you don't have the money? What if it's not in your account? And then what about the fact that you have to actually wait for them to arrive? And so you're still around that person who you just felt disrespected you or said something or did something, and you no longer want to be in their presence. They don't have to leave your presence. You could, call a ride share, and while you're waiting, you could get up and leave. They can come and follow you. There's all kinds of situations where I've heard of women being in situations where, because they were quote unquote stuck because they allowed that man to come and pick them up. And so they were dependent upon them to, get, transportation back and forth. Me personally, I've only did ride share maybe twice. And that was when I was on vacation. I was out of the state. So I'm not really too familiar, me personally, with Uber, Lyft, all of those different options. Those apps are not even on my phone. The only time I had that particular app on my phone was when I was out of the country, or out of state. I'm sorry, out of the state, out of where I live in another state. And I depended upon them to take me from the airport to the hotel in lieu of renting a vehicle. So if you're like me and you never really use those type of options, and then you put yourself in a situation where, you're dependent upon that person to take you home, that's just not a good situation to be in. You don't know what somebody may do. And I have heard too many stories of women being in that situation and not knowing what to do. So I always say, and they'll offer, and you can just, kindly just say, you know what? Thank you so much for offering, but I'll go ahead and meet you there. And that is really just that simple. So I always say, you meet the person, you're in your own vehicle, and you meet the person at your destination. So the first step was, we have dissected the conversation. The second step was, we're going to meet and date during the day. The third step was, we're going to use our own means of transportation to meet that person at the designated location. And the fourth and final step is coronavirus. Okay? No PDA, no touchy-feely, none of that. If you have an issue with your flesh, and you are the type of person where you're touchy-feely, you kiss, you're all of that, with everything that's going on, it is not in your best interest to kiss somebody that you just met or you're still getting to know, or to be touchy-feely, hugging. We really don't need to do any of that in the beginning stages of getting to know someone, and we've been out with them a few times. We don't really need to do that. And one of the positive things about being in this situation with what's going on is it's actually forcing you to have some self-discipline and self-control. You're not going to just do what you used to do, because now you're cautious, or you should be cautious, thinking in the back of your mind, you know what? I have to be extremely careful with this person because I just met them. I don't know them. And, I don't want anything to come between this person or myself. I don't want anything to affect him or affect me. So you need to have self-control and discipline enough to say, okay, no touchy-feely. We're just getting to know each other. That's not even on the table. So this is teaching us to have self-control and self-discipline in lieu of the way that we used to, or in the past used to go about dating, because now we have to be safely dating while we're single. So I hope that this was a blessing to you. Number one, recap. We're going to dissect the conversation on the phone. Number two, we're going to date during the day. Number three, we're going to use our own means of transportation when we're meeting that person. And number four, no touchy-feely, no PDA. We have self-control and self-discipline, and we're going to date safely in the middle of this pandemic. So if you like this video, if it was a blessing to you, give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe because it's free. And I hope to see you next time. I upload videos every Wednesday and Friday. So until next time, thank you for joining me, Jam Fam. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.